Hi everyone. I think it's time to think about Christmas cards, don't you? When I think of Christmas, I think of stepped up card ideas with layers and texture and sparkle. This is the time of year to go all out and impress even ourselves. Today I have a beautiful Christmas card idea that's super easy to create, but that's our secret, right? If this is the first time you're visiting my channel, hi, I'm Terri from nutsaboutsstamping.com. I love sharing techniques and project ideas for rubber stamping, paper crafting, and scrapbooking with you each week. Be sure to hit that red subscribe button and the bell beside it so that you'll be the first to be notified when my next video goes live. Be sure to watch all the way through my video for my bonus tips and design ideas. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator yet, I would love for you to choose me. I'll link to my online stores in the description box under this video. Now, let's get started on this beautiful Christmas card. When creating your holiday cards this year, the first tip I have is to use an embossing folder as a layer on your cards. This will add texture and visual interest. You can create a textured background of sheet music using this Merry Melody 3D embossing folder. Inspired by the traditional Christmas song, Joy to the World, this 3D embossing folder not only allows you to easily add texture to your Christmas cards, but it'll also give them a festive touch that everyone will love. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a layer of basic white, I'm going to put it inside the embossing folder, and I'm going to head over to my Stampin' Emboss and Cut machine, and I'm going to emboss this layer, and then I'll show you what it looks like. And there we go, it's beautiful. Now, what I can do is I can leave it like this, or what I can also do if I want a more aged look on my embossing folder, I can take an ink pad and a sponge, and I can add just a touch of color to the notes that are raised on this layer. And I can also add a little bit of color around the outside edges of this layer. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm just going to swipe some color across the raised notes just to add a little bit of visual interest and to age the layer a little bit. The next tip for your Christmas cards is to add layers, which is what I'm going to be doing using the Cottage Wreaths bundle. This bundle is perfect for creating elegant holiday wreaths. You can make wreaths for tags, or you can put them on cards, which is what we're going to do today. But what I think is really cool is that this particular bundle, you can create wreaths for Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. The wreaths look lovely paired with the festive greetings in the stamp set, but you can also use them alone to suit any occasion that you need. So I also recommend that you, if you're going to get this bundle, that you try different colors with the layers of the stamps, because I think it can create seasonal wreaths as well. So what I'm going to do is, I've got a piece of shaded spruce, and I've got this particular die from the pack, and I have this layer of soft succulent, and I'm going to use this die from the pack. So the dies include wreaths, as you can see, along with a variety of shapes that you can use to embellish them. You can cut out leaves, bows, and more. This allows you to customize your wreath for any occasion. They're perfect for the holidays, but as I've already said, you can match it with the stamp set to create wreaths that are perfect throughout the year, depending on the color scheme that you choose. So I'm going to die cut those out, and then I have a scrap piece of real red, and I have this bow. So I'm going to also die cut out the bow when I'm over at my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I'll be back in a moment. All right, I have my wreaths die cut and my bow. I want to point out though, this wreath just die cuts, and then you can poke out any extra pieces so that it's sort of a see-through wreath. But this one has a very special touch to it in that you can actually bend these little leaves up. They are attached. They're not designed to poke out of the die. And you can bend them up to add extra, like I guess, texture or look of extra texture, which I also think is really lovely for Christmas cards, is this whole textured piece, which adds that elegance and that really nice touch. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to take one of the stamps from the Cottage Wreaths stamp set, and there are these little holly berries, and I want to stamp and die cut 3 of them. So I'm going to use my Real Red ink. Oh, that first one didn't turn out very well, so let's do 3 that do turn out better. Okay. And then, yes, there is a little die, and I can't seem to see it right now, but there is a little, oh, here it is. There is a little die, so I'm going to die cut these 3 berries out, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the next step in creating this beautiful and super easy card. Now, the next thing I like to do is step up my holiday cards by using a beautiful pattern of designer series paper. This is from the Boughs of Holly pack. These beautiful papers embrace, let me show you them in a larger pattern. So these beautiful papers embrace the classic emerald green and rich reds that most of us love to see at Christmas time. It has poinsettias and holly and evergreen motifs. It also includes a more neutral birch tree bark pattern, soft polka dots, and abstract swatches of classic seasonal colors. And did you know that you can also cut out these images to use them on cards for quick, textured and detailed layering pieces? So that's an added bonus to this particular pack of paper. Now the colors are Cherry Cobbler, Evening Evergreen, Mossy Meadow, Old Olive, Poppy Parade, Real Red, Sahara Sand, Shaded Spruce, Soft Succulent, and Soft Suede. So for my card base, I've decided to choose Shaded Spruce, which is a color that I don't use that much at all. But I think on this particular pattern, it will be beautiful. So I am going to add this layer, and then I'm going to add on top my embossed layer that I have aged using some Sahara Sand. Okay, there we go. And now what I want to do is I want to take a leftover strip of the same designer series paper, and I want to lay it right across the front of the card. That pulls my colors together. We've got the white, we've got the shaded spruce, we've got the soft succulent, we've got the real red, and it just pulls the paper from the bottom of the layer up to the top. The next thing I want to do is bring in my fine tip glue pen, and I want to add glue to the shaded spruce layer and then to the soft succulent layer and layer them on top of each other and onto the card base. Okay, there we go. It's coming along nicely. Now the next thing I want to do is, and I've gone ahead and done, is I want to add some mini Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of my bow. And then I've put one on the back of each of my berries, and I'm going to add them as layers. Now the reason I added Stampin' Dimensionals is that I think that Christmas cards also need layering. And so I want these specific elements to stand out from my card. Okay, that's what those elements look like. Now I want to add a phrase. So I've got the Merry Christmas phrase from the same stamp set, from the Cottage Wreaths stamp set, and I think I'm going to stamp it using Real Red. I have a scrap piece of basic white, and I'm just going to ink up the phrase. I'm going to stamp it down, and then I'm going to trim it so that I can lay it inside my wreath layers. I decided to put a mini Stampin' Dimensional underneath the center part of the phrase, and then I tucked the ends under the pieces of the wreath that were not adhered flat. And I think that's a lovely way to pull the colors, again, from the Boughs of Holly Designer Series paper. Would you like to see another card idea using the Boughs of Holly paper? Then check out this video next. And now it's time to talk bling. I have some leftover red jewels from the former annual catalog, and they're real red, and I think they would be a perfect touch to add to my card, which is my final tip. Always add bling of some sort to your Christmas cards because that adds elegance and it's super easy to do. So I ended up just adding 3 of the jewels, but of course it's your choice. You can add more. My recommendation is to add an odd number, not an even number, because that pleases the artistic eye, or so I've been told. If you would like a complete listing of the supplies that I used and the measurements for all of the bits and pieces, I'll link to my blog article in the description box under this video. You can link over to my blog. You can see a full description of everything I used, along with the ordering numbers in case you want to order the Cottage Wreaths bundle and the Boughs of Holly Designer Series paper so that you can make this card at home. Remember my tips. Embossing folder, Designer Series paper, layers, bling. That will create a beautiful, elegant, and super easy Christmas card this year. I'm Terri. I'm nuts about stamping. I'll see you at the next video. Bye for now.